Alaska the Bountiful, America's premier wildlife resource, where we can all enjoy the wildlife treasures of Alaska, hunt and fish to our heart's content. Or can we? With declining wildlife stocks, what does the future of Alaska's wildlife population hold for recreational and subsistence users? Can we plan for an Alaskan future with bountiful wildlife resources? Yes, we can, and we must. Over the last 30 years, Alaska's dramatic growth in residential and visitor populations placed great demands on fish and wildlife, well beyond the capacity of some species to recover without progressive wildlife management. Meanwhile, almost all of Alaska's 44 million acres of privately owned premier wildlife habitat exists without professional wildlife management. This is a call for action. Enlisting private landowners to help meet the need for increased wildlife and enhanced habitats, several state, national, and international organizations, such as Alaska Village Initiatives, the Nature Conservatory, and Safari Club International, have banded together to form Village Wildlife Conservation Cooperative, which supports the creation of Alaska's first private lands wildlife management program. Based on a number of successful model programs in the lower 48, this long-term state oversight wildlife enhancement program on private lands provides the opportunity for greatly enhanced hunting and fishing experiences for recreational consumers and non-consumer users, while also providing ample resources for subsistence-based communities. The goals of abundant game from multiple sources of enhanced habitats can be realized through a proven and applied professional wildlife habitat management system. This program can help diffuse conflicts between different kinds of users by developing greater wildlife opportunities. Under this carefully managed system, hunters achieve a much higher success rate with higher wildlife quality. Focusing on creating an abundance of wildlife by following demonstrated successful management patterns used in Colorado and California, the Village Wildlife Conservation Cooperative has seen more than 2 million acres of Alaska private land join the program. In a private land wildlife program overseen by the Alaska Department of Fish and Game, Alaska will produce more game and more trophy animals than ever before. And everybody wins. With private lands wildlife management of Alaska, the future looks bright and bountiful. PLWM is a win-win program negotiated between the state and the private landowner, designed to create an abundance of wildlife, increase recreational harvests to meet growing recreational demands, provide enhanced management of the private habitat on private lands to sustain growth, ensure the survival and increased populations of targeted species, benefit the landowner and the public, create viable, sustainable economies in rural Alaska, and increase subsistence harvest. So, what is the downside? There isn't one. There are no known economic or scientific barriers to private lands wildlife management. It is successfully practiced in 8 western states. Ranching for wildlife programs in the lower 48 generates hundreds of millions of dollars annually while increasing the species population and improving the habitat. The Tyonek Lodge is our first success story. Opened to the public in 1997 with 45,000 acres of previously closed wildlife habitat, this program employs 6 local residents in a beautiful locally built 12-bed lodge. Local residents welcome recreational visitors and care for the habitat. Recent timber harvests have been designed to dramatically improve moose sprouts. Within 3 years, the community anticipates a bumper crop of willows, will produce a bumper crop of moose. It comes down to realizing Alaska's huge potential with 44 million acres of prime wildlife habitat on private lands. With a steadily declining wildlife population, we have to take charge and manage better to dramatically increase our resources and generate healthy economies. The rural economy benefits as the private landowner, with state oversight, expands the compressed hunting season and generates local revenue with a 6 to 8 month ecotourism season. Alaska, where we can all recreate, hunt, and fish to our heart's content. Yes, as the stewards of the future, with proper wildlife management, we can create enough for all our needs. Let's create a state where we can proudly say, Alaska the Bountiful, America's premier wildlife resource.